Welcome to History's Hidden Tales, where we shine a light on extraordinary stories that time almost forgot. Today, we're journeying back to World War II occupied Europe to uncover the tale of a young woman whose bravery and sacrifice became a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. Her name was Hannie Schaft, but you might know her as the girl with the red hair. It's the early 1940s. The Netherlands, like much of Europe, is under the iron grip of Nazi Germany. The once peaceful cities and picturesque canals are overshadowed by the harsh realities of war. Everywhere you look, soldiers patrol the streets, fear hangs thick in the air, and people's freedoms are stripped away. Yet, in the midst of this oppression, pockets of resistance form. Ordinary citizens, students, teachers, housewives, risk their lives to stand up against one of history's most formidable regimes. Hannie Schaft would soon become one of the most notable figures in this clandestine fight. Jannetje Johanna Schaft, better known simply as Hannie, was born on September 16, 1920, in Haarlem, the Netherlands. Her father was a teacher, and her mother was a devout socialist. From a young age, Hannie was taught the values of justice and equality. By 1939, she was studying law at the University of Amsterdam, driven by a desire to speak for those who had no voice. But as Nazi occupation tightened its grip, students were forced to sign a loyalty oath to the German regime. Hannie refused. She couldn't pledge allegiance to the very force that violated every principle she stood for. She left the university in protest. Little did she know, this decision would set her on a path that would change her life forever. Hannie joined the Dutch resistance not long after leaving her studies behind. At first, her tasks were relatively modest, delivering underground newspapers, forging identity papers, and gathering intelligence. But in a time when simply possessing a banned newspaper could earn you a brutal interrogation, even these small acts took immense courage. Her commitment quickly caught the eye of resistance leaders. They recognized her fierce determination and sense of justice. Hannie soon progressed from distributing banned materials to more dangerous missions: espionage, smuggling weapons, and helping Allied pilots and Jewish families evade capture. Each mission became a brush with death, but Hannie pressed forward, undeterred by the escalating risks. You might be wondering how Hannie earned her famous moniker, the girl with the red hair. Quite simply, she had striking, fiery red hair that set her apart. It was both a hallmark of her bold spirit and an undeniable risk. That distinctive red was easy to remember, and any slip-up could lead the enemy straight to her. As her missions became more daring, she dyed her hair black to stay hidden. But among fellow resistance fighters and the enemy alike, the legend of the fearless redhead persisted. Whether her hair was truly red or not, her reputation blazed brightly wherever she went. By 1944, Hannie was deeply involved in high-stakes operations. She worked alongside other courageous women, like the Oversteegen sisters, to sabotage critical Nazi infrastructure. Sabotage missions against railways, telephone lines, and supply depots became commonplace. But the stakes rose even higher when they targeted high-ranking Nazi officials and Dutch collaborators. One especially tense mission occurred on a dark street in the outskirts of Haarlem. Hannie and a fellow resistance fighter lay in wait for a notorious Dutch collaborator tied to the arrests of countless Jewish families. Footsteps approached. Shots rang out, echoing through the night. The silence that followed was deafening, and Hannie vanished into the shadows before backup arrived. These audacious strikes struck fear into the heart of the Nazi regime, but it also put an ever-growing target on Hannie's back. Outwardly, Hannie could still appear to be an ordinary young woman, weathering the hardships of war. Neighbors might see her running errands, attending to chores, or simply walking the streets like anyone else. Little did they know the perilous double life she was leading. Operating under aliases, shifting between safe houses, and concealing firearms beneath her coat became routine. She spent her days planning the next covert operation, always aware that a wrong step meant certain capture, or worse. Each heartbeat carried the weight of life or death decisions. Hannie's missions weren't without their share of close calls. On more than one occasion, she narrowly avoided arrest at Nazi checkpoints by using her forged papers and an unshakably calm demeanor. One slip, one stray strand of red hair, could have exposed her. During a frantic getaway, she once sprinted through labyrinthine alleyways under the glare of German flashlights. Bullets ricocheted off cobblestones. By sheer determination and quick thinking, she managed to escape, but every brush with danger made the Gestapo more determined to find her. In early 1945, just as rumors circulated that Allied forces might liberate the Netherlands soon, Hannie's luck ran out. At a checkpoint, a guard caught sight of the red roots beneath her black dye. Suspecting she was the girl with the red hair, the soldiers searched her bag and discovered incriminating documents and a weapon. She was arrested on the spot. The Nazis realized they had finally captured one of the most notorious members of the Dutch resistance. Word spread like wildfire among her comrades, sending shockwaves through the underground networks. Hannie was interrogated mercilessly in Amsterdam, but she refused to betray her fellow fighters or give up critical resistance secrets. Frustrated by her defiance, the Gestapo decided to make an example of her. On April 17, 1945, just weeks before the Netherlands would be liberated, Hannie Schaft was taken to the sandy dunes of Bloemendaal. There, she was executed by firing squad at the age of 24. According to surviving witnesses, the first bullet only wounded her. As legend has it, she mustered the strength to utter a defiant quip. "I shoot better than you." The second bullet ended her life, mere days before the country she loved would be freed from Nazi rule. After World War II, Hannie's heroic deeds and heartbreaking end became the stuff of legend. The Dutch royal family recognized her courage, and memorials were erected in her honor. Each year on December 8th, a commemoration at the Hannie Schaft Memorial in Haarlem pays tribute to her legacy. She has been awarded posthumous honors, including the Dutch Cross of Resistance. Streets and schools bear her name, reminding new generations of her courage. Books, documentaries, and films continue to explore her story, ensuring that the girl with the red hair will never be forgotten. Hannie's life reminds us that courage doesn't require a uniform or superhuman abilities. She was, in many respects, an ordinary woman, a law student who decided she could not stand by while injustice reigned. Her willingness to risk everything in the name of freedom underscores how a single individual's commitment can ripple out and change the course of history. In a world still facing oppression and violence, her story echoes across time, urging us to question injustice and to stand against it whenever it appears. Hannie's message is clear. No matter how daunting the challenge, even one determined voice can shake the foundations of tyranny. Thank you for watching History's Hidden Tales. If Hannie Schaft's courage has inspired you, or if you know other untold stories of heroic resistance, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more extraordinary moments from history's hidden past. Hannie Schaft, the girl with the red hair, lived only 24 short years, but her spirit resonates through the ages. Her life and ultimate sacrifice remind us that freedom is precious and worth defending, no matter the cost.